Well, I hope Keller ISD teachers are on air with us. This is our first YouTube Live coming to you from the Genius headquarters here at KCAL. And my name is Sarah Smith. I am an educational technology facilitator here in Keller ISD. And I am being joined with David Wright. David, you want to say hi?
Hey guys, my name is David Wright, and I am the Assistant Fine Arts Director here in Keller, and just a big Google geek. So I'm happy to be here talking about Gmail and Calendar with everybody today. So welcome.
Yes. And before we start, I don't want you to have any technical difficulties. So I'm going to start screen sharing a slideshow I created for you guys, and we will post that on our KIC website later. So let me do that to show you some tips that may help you. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is Google is not scary. Google is not scary. That's our theme for today. So like I said, later you'll have access to the Google's Not Scary slideshow and the tips that David and I are going to share with you today. But to get started, I wanted to share this slide with you. Check your chat window. These quick and easy 4 steps, 4 clicks are going to help you be able to chat with us, because I want you to be able to submit questions if you have any questions for the team here. And so let's see. If you are asked to create a channel, you're going to click the 3 lines in the top left-hand corner. That's step number 2. You'll see that, and you see it there in the screenshot. Then you're going to click My Channel and then Create Channel. And that's it. It's like 3 simple clicks, and then you'll want to return back to the link that you started with kellerisd.net/Kickstarter. Okay. So I'm going to give you a second to do that, and then we'll jump into our tips and tricks on Gmail and Google Calendar. When you have access to the chat window, would you please just introduce yourself, say hi, so our moderators will see that you're out there. And if you don't have a question for us quite yet, that's okay. Just tell us you're there. So here's the link to our slideshow that we're sharing with you today. I'll let you jot that down. We'll come back to it at the end as well. So we're going to start with Gmail tips.
All right. So speaking of technical difficulties, just want to let everyone know that this is our first shot at doing this YouTube Live. We're excited to provide it. We're going to try to do this, every once in a while, but we know that there will definitely be some glitches in this afternoon's training. So bear with us as we do that. And again, not only do we want your questions today, but we'd love to have your feedback as we continue to offer this and improve the process.
Thank you, David. I'm going to go ahead and go on into labels, and hopefully this will help our teachers and our faculty members get organized. So when you're using Gmail, so this is kind of our first little tip, we highly encourage labels, which back in your old email system, Outlook, you had folders. So hopefully you can see our animated GIF here on the slide. What you're going to do there in your inbox is click the check mark to the left of the email and click on the Move To tool. So right about here, it highlights the Move To tool. It's a little folder with an arrow facing right. And then if you have any, I'm sure if you're like me, you have a lot of folders, or now we call those labels in Gmail, and you'll just select one of your current labels that you have. If you need to create one, you can do that very easily as well. And I believe this GIF is going to show us that here in just a second. Yeah, so you can create you can even nest labels, which would be like a label inside of a label, if that makes sense to you in your organizing process. So let us know in the chat window what you think about labels. Is that helpful, or do you have any other questions about labels remember, it's the same thing as what you had in Outlook, and in Outlook, they were called folders. Okay, I'm going to continue to the next little tip here. And this is another way. If you look on the left-hand side of your screen, and if you currently have a label, it's very easy to add a sub-label. If you click on, and I'll wait till the video catches up with me here. There it is. If you click on the 3 dots to the right of your current label, you can click on Add Sub-Label. And then you get a little window to name it and then create it. That's typically what I do, and I have tons and tons of labels. So I love this easy process of creating more labels. I don't know, Gmail may cut me off at some point. I don't know. All right, David, I'm going to stop my screen share and turn it over to you. Are you ready for that?
I am.
Okay.
And while she's doing that, I'm actually going to share my screen with you. So I'll show you something that actually was kind of new to me, and that is using the directory in Gmail. So, you know, your contacts list is not part of Gmail, and that's on purpose. They want the contacts to be apart from Gmail because they want contacts to work inside Gmail. So you shouldn't need to go to a special place to get to your contacts. But if you're trying to find someone that you want to send an email to, or you know, you're not exactly sure who it is, the easiest way to do it is to use this directory. So I'm just going to go to Compose. So up here, I'm not exactly sure the person's name. Maybe I think it might have been, let's say, Aaron. So I click on the 2 right here. It says Select Contacts. So I can click on that. And then I can just search for the contact. So I know it was Aaron something. So I say Aaron, and then it's going to bring up every Aaron that's in my contacts list and in the mind that this is students, this is faculty, everyone in Keller ISD. So it might take you a while to scroll down to the right person. Also, just so you know, your most frequent contacts will appear up here at the top. And then the contacts that you maybe don't use will be a little bit lower than that. So let's just say I remember now his name was Aaron Reister. So if I select that, there's things I can do. I can insert it into the email message. I can also save it as a group. So maybe I wanted both of these people, Aaron and Aaron. I can click both of them, save it as a group, and then they go into my contacts list. So the next time I need that group contact, it's there. So this is pretty super simple. There, then insert, and now I have Aaron Reister here. Also, so that you know, if you just hover over his name, it brings up all the information that's available for Aaron. So his phone number, what his job is, his room number, and then I can come down here. If I want to make a change to that, I can email him. I can schedule an event with him. Of course, do a hangout, send a message through Hangouts, all kinds of things. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's going to come in really handy, especially when you're trying to create a group really quickly. Just click on that 2 and then start adding the people by searching for them. And that's really all you have to do. So it's pretty simple. And I hope that's a good tip for you. So I'm going to send it back over to Sarah. And Sarah's microphone's turned off. So
there we go.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I was talking to no one. We did have a question come in, so I'm going to screen share the screen and show y'all from my Gmail account. The question was, can you automatically have an email go to a folder, which of course now is called a label, and you can. It's called filters. So let me show that. Okay, so let me go to my Gmail window here, and let's say I wanted to, any email, excuse me, from Teacher Doe. I want to go ahead and go into a Teacher Doe label. So I highlight the message I kind of want to base the filter on, and in Outlook, this was called rules. So I highlight that message, put a checkbox in it, click the three dots at the top in your toolbar and click filter messages like these. So filter messages like these. When I get the next window, it should have the from address, and feel free to enter any other criteria there that matches your rule, which is again now called filters, and then click create filter. And one thing I typically do is I have my messages skip the inbox and automatically apply a label. So these are my two most common clicks in this window. I select my label if I already have one. If I don't, I create a new one, and we'll call this Teacher Doe. You can even nest it at that time. And then you click create filter. And one great time saver is to click this last checkbox before creating the filter, which would apply the filter to any matching conversations in your inbox. So that would maybe possibly help you out if you have a lot of emails from that particular person.
So a couple of things, if I can just jump in with this, Sarah. If you skip the inbox, just make sure that it's something you don't need to keep. And I do use that all the time. I use it for things that are not important that I might need to come back to later. One example is like the Eduphoria trip requests. I don't want my inbox to be full of them, so I do that. So that they go to out of the inbox, so I don't ever worry about it. And then the other thing is I set those filters up to automatically filter emails from certain people, maybe from, Dr. Westfall, for instance. And if I get emails from him, I want them to be color coded. So you can color code that label. Then anytime an email comes through, it's got that big, green label on it, and it sticks out. So it's easy to kind of look through those emails. So a couple of tips there for you.
Yes, I agree. Use it sparingly. If you're having things file away, make sure you're checking the labels, right? Because you don't want to miss anything that's important. Okay, so let me show you our slideshow just real quickly to show you a couple of other tips on Gmail. We're hanging out in Gmail for just a second. So after labels and directory, I want to show you the configure inbox steps. This is something that Google offers. If you like labels, you may possibly like this as well, because it's another type of category use in your inbox. So, and then also we don't have clutter anymore, so that this may help you a little bit. So to get there, the screenshot here shows you click on the settings gear in the top right corner and then select configure inbox. You'll get a window that looks like this, and you'll want to put a check mark in the categories that make sense to you. And I'm really a little more familiar with the top three. The primary would be your primary inbox, like you're used to. The second would be social, things probably like Twitter or Facebook, Google+, things like that would be labeled social media, the social category. And then promotions would be, maybe you order things for your job and you frequent a vendor and they constantly send you emails every week. So hopefully Gmail would catch that in the promotions category. Now over on the bottom left, you see a screenshot of what it would look like in your inbox with the three categories. You would just need, kind of like David said about the filters, you would need to remember to check those categories, check those tabs at the top of your inbox. And just make sure, nothing's perfect. Gmail, as you work and as you label and fix the way it labels things, it would get a little bit more efficient for you. But again, you would just want to check. It's similar to when maybe a message goes to spam, but it's really not spam. It's something you need, and you would fix that. You would refile it. The longer you use these features, the more efficient it would become.
Yeah, Google will use artificial intelligence basically to decide for you what's a social and what's a promotion. But Sarah, do you use these filters, these inbox tips?
I don't have them turned on right now, but I'm thinking about turning them on more for my personal use, just because I get a lot of promotional kind of stuff. So Yeah. Do you?
I did. I used them for a while, but I quit using them because honestly, I still kept clicking on them. You know, I couldn't like keep myself from not clicking on them, even though I knew they weren't important things. But yeah, so I just turned mine off. But they are handy, especially if you get a lot of like newsletter type emails that you don't want to mess with your inbox. They're pretty handy. So
yeah, they weren't saving you time.
No, not at all.
You kind of have to play with these features. Another thing I want to point out is, and you may have missed in our beginning Gmail training at your campuses, just know that you can report an email as spam. So you would click on the email and then click on the exclamation point with the little stop sign, and click that button, and that would report that email as spam, and hopefully you will stop getting those emails. So that's another way to, and you think, oh, it just takes 2 seconds to archive it or delete it, but in the end, it would save you a lot of time, right? Because if you're doing that constantly, you know, it could save you time. So, all right, turning it over to David.
Oh, great. Okay. So we're going to talk about the search feature, and some of this we actually already talked about when Sarah was talking about the filters. But so basically I use the search feature. I can't say search feature, but I use the search feature all the time. You know, you have in Outlook where you can do some things kind of like this, but in Gmail, you can search for anything. Basically, you can search by label, you can search by person, you can search by a name or a subject or something that's in an email. And you know, anything that's even archived in your emails is going to show up in your search. So just a general search, we could just say, are there any emails from Aaron in here? And I load and it shows me, yeah, there are all of these. And not only are they from Aaron, but you can see that some of these emails where maybe Aaron was copied on them or Aaron's name was in them, things like that. So if you want to get more specific on that feature, you click on this little down arrow over here on the right-hand side of the search box, and it gives you lots of options. So now I can say, well, I actually was talking about Aaron Reister specifically, and now I can search and it brings up just the emails that are from Aaron. And again, to get to the filters, this is how you do it. So now I have Aaron's email up here on the from. I can create a filter. So we just come down here and say create filter. Like I said, Sarah kind of talked about this already, but this is an easy way to get to it. So now I want every email that comes from Aaron, I would just want to delete it. So if I wanted to do that, I could just click delete and it would always delete it. Or I can add it into a label. I can put it in a category, all kinds of things. It's kind of a quick example of how to use the search feature. But again, I use it many times a day. I don't know if I could live without that search feature. So Sarah, how about you? Do you use that feature a lot?
Oh, yes, daily. And I think moving from Outlook to Gmail, that's one of the main shifts in thinking. In Outlook, I used to sort by different fields, like obviously the date or the sender, things like that. But instead of sorting, you're now shifting your brain to just searching. And sometimes I search too broad, so I really need to, like you showed them, I need to narrow that search. Maybe I need to put it in the from field or the to field, or did it have an attachment? You know, I need to really be specific in my search. And I usually can find what I need. I just need to, again, change my methodology there. So
yeah. Hey, Sarah, there is a question. I'm not sure if you can help with it or not, but I know that this has come up a lot, and that's connecting the TAC with Gmail. Have you had any experience with that?
So that's the mail to. Anytime you click on a mail to link, which would typically bring up your default email client, or in this case, it's the web-based Gmail. We do have steps on our Kik website, and let me see if I can find those. Hang on, just.
I think I can show how to do it also while we're at it. I think we'll just kind of test it and see. But if you can't see what I'm doing, somebody just yell. But on your desktop, and this is only Windows. So if you're on a Mac or a Chromebook or something like that, your directions are different. But like what Sarah said, you have to make the default be the Gmail client. So for Windows, I'm going to click down on this little window on the bottom left-hand corner. Can you see where that is?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I just click there and I just start typing in default. When I type in default, it brings up default programs. I just click on that. Can you see this window here now? And I just want to make sure my email says Google Chrome instead of Outlook. On Windows, that's how you do that. So now it's Google Chrome. But I haven't experimented with this. I don't use TAC, but I've been told that there's something in the TAC program that you also have to select. And I'm not exactly sure what that is, but somewhere in TAC you have to say use Gmail as your client. Does that help?
Thank you. Yes. And then also at the end of our program, we'll show them the KIC website. And I believe we have specific instructions for depending on your computer setup and whatnot.
That's great.
Okay, David, do you want to show them a little bit about Calendar?
Yeah, I do actually want to just mention one more thing about Gmail while we're here. One of the other things that was a little frustrating to some people is they would get an email from someone and they couldn't read the whole email because you had to scroll to read the whole thing. Okay, so it's getting a little frustrating, but what's happening for the most part, if that's happening to you, if you're getting an email and you're having to scroll on the window, the whole thing isn't fitting on your window, look at the signature, either your own signature or the signature of the person who sent it. And if their signature has a big picture or it has several icons that go all the way across, or if like the very bottom where you have that little statement, you know, that says this email is confidential, la, 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 whatever, if it goes all the way across, then Gmail can't shorten that for you. It takes whatever you put in your signature and creates that signature. So if it's too big, the emails that you're sending or somebody else is sending them to you that has a long signature, they're not able to fit in the window. Does that make any sense? It's a little confusing, but just check your signature. Make sure it's nice and fits in that window. It doesn't go too long. It's just a nice, you know, concise little signature. And then if that's the problem with someone else, you might just send them a friendly email and say, hey, can you shorten that last little sentence? It's kind of running on, and it'll help you be able to read all of those emails without having to use your scroll bar.
Okay, I think I've seen some emails like this. So thank you for answering that. I don't think I knew the answer to that.
Yeah, I hope that helps. But
yeah. Okay, just very basic, but if you could screen share, David, your calendar. I'm on the PD account and it has a crazy, very busy calendar. Is that okay? Do you have
absolutely. I actually have a pretty busy calendar too, but I'm happy to show it to you.
So be alarmed.
Yes, yeah, don't be alarmed. So this is what my calendar looks like, and this is basically how I like to look at my calendar. You guys know you can do you can change from week, you can look at it in a month or day view. Of course, if you look at it in day view, you get to see everyone's calendar lined up, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like. So in day view, you can see this is my school, my business, my work calendar. This is my personal calendar for home, and then this is fine arts performances. We have a special calendar just for that. And then if I kept scrolling, you could see all of the other ones. But I prefer to be in week view just because it gives me a nice, tidy look to everything. You'll notice over on the left-hand side has all of the calendars that you're subscribed to. Now, the great thing about Gmail is if you want to see someone's calendar in the district, you can see someone's calendar in the district. And all you have to do is put their name here where it says add coworker. So let's say I wanted to see Sarah's calendar. I just click on it. And now Sarah's calendar is right down here. You can see her right there. And you notice, I guess I should have asked you first, but you did a good job of making sure that you have only busy listed. So I don't know, I don't know, does she have a meeting here on the 18th at 1 o'clock, at 4:30? Is she doing a YouTube live? I don't know. All I know is she's busy. And that's really important. If I needed to schedule a meeting with Sarah, instead of just, emailing and back and forth saying, what's good for you? What's good for you? I can just pull up her calendar and I can see when she's busy. And then, I send her an email and say, hey, can you meet on, this date? Because it looks like your calendar is empty. And that way it saves us a lot of time. So that's how to do that. And like I said, you can see anyone's calendar for your own calendar. Oh, and by the way, if you don't want to see it anymore, you just click on that little color and the calendar goes away. So for instance, if I don't want to show this calendar, I just click and it goes away, and then I can just bring it back. Just so that you know, when you're sharing your calendar, you see the 3 dots here? I'm just going to click on those and then go to settings and sharing. And then from here, it brings up a whole lot of options, but the important ones are right here. So on my access permissions, I want to make it available for Keller ISD. You really want to make sure that's selected, because you want people to be able to see where you are. Of course, I have see all events because I don't put personal things on my calendar, so I don't care if somebody knows I'm having a meeting or anything. But if you just want people to see if you're busy, just click on see all events and then select see only, free, and busy. And then that will show like what Sarah's did, where it's just busy. Then you can select certain people to have your calendar also, and you can give them other permissions. So Shelby has full permission on my calendar. She can make changes to events. She basically is kind of a co-owner. So if there's something she needs to add to my calendar, she's able to do that. Other people can just see events, but I can also change if I didn't want her to have that permission. You could just select however, whatever, I want her to be able to see. Does that kind of help, Sarah? I went through that really fast, but anything else you want me to show while we're on this page?
That's awesome. No, I think that's good, because I know I kind of expected us to spend most of the time in Gmail and a little bit in Calendar. I'll just share one last tip, some feedback that we got from some secretaries at some different schools using the new interface of Gmail and Calendar. Just a quick tip: if you're on Chrome, you can press Control+ to zoom in and Control- to zoom out. I don't know if that helps you with, viewing. Maybe you turned on the little task pane on the right-hand side of your screen. So let's see if I can show it really fast, and then we'll get you guys out of here. I know it doesn't sound like it maybe matches the topic, but here it is on our slide. Zooming in, it just helps some of the secretaries we have been working with. So if I'm in, let me close that, in Gmail, and I have this open, and it's screen space is important real estate, right? So if you want to Command- on a Mac, Control on a PC would zoom it out. So of course that's probably for you guys getting a little hard to read, but Command or Control+. Anytime you're on the web, you can use that feature. So I hope that helps you guys. I do see that it's 2 minutes till closing.
Sarah, can I say, while you're on the screen, can I show just a couple of things? In the left-hand corner where it says Gmail, it has the 3 lines.
Yes.
You can click on that and give you more space. And then now there's a new thing over where the calendar is at the very bottom. There's an arrow, and you can click on that, and it will hide that whole thing. It's at the very bottom of the screen.
Oh my goodness, I'm looking.
I'm not sure if you can see it on this
bottom right or left.
Left.
Oh, left.
Okay. You may have to, you know what? I know. Click on X out of the calendar.
Okay, gotcha.
There. Now see that little arrow there at the bottom?
Yes, maybe.
On the right-hand side, you can just at the
gotcha.
Click there, and it goes away. So this is the most space you can have, but if you need it, it's there. And and you could go, if you want to go ahead and go back to our main screen. There's one more question I thought was really interesting about the standard email signature. I don't know about a formal standard email signature, but I know that if you want that logo that says Keller ISD Exceptional, the green logo, the really cool logo, there is a link to that. And I think, Sarah, maybe you can put it in our notes somewhere, but there's a link to be able to copy that and paste it into your signature. So we'll make sure that you get that also. Yes,
I just want to shout out to or do a commercial here for the KIC website. It's www.kellerisd.net/KIC. And if you go to G Suite Gmail, the steps are found in this middle section under FAQs and number 4. So I don't want to keep you guys late. Let me show you guys the link to our participation form. I'll make it big for you guys to see. It's a bit.ly, bit.ly/2, capital R, capital W, S, capital URY. And it is case sensitive, so type it in very carefully. If you'll go to that form, we're just asking a couple of questions on how you participated and possibly how we should improve for next time. Maybe you can share some topics that you would like to hear in future YouTube lives. But this was really fun, David. I want to thank you for helping me with this, and I hope the teachers liked it, and I hope we can tell our friends about it and get more on. We're going to try to do these, every month or so.
That was great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we are going to sign off. Thanks, David.
Thank you. Bye, all.